that. We all need that.
So I'm going to just give a brief report here on our sponsorship committee. And Sean was part of that, as was April, and Deirdre as well, when she is not traveling around the world and is able to Skype in with us. So we've had really kind of intense. We've been meeting since last year in October, every couple of weeks or every 3 weeks. We've really done a lot of work, and it's really been good. We've been kind of digging into a lot of stuff. We've been having a lot of fun getting to know each other, and really an understanding that we are, as people have said up to now, at an interesting point with UCM. We are built on this incredible foundation. And we are in a moment in time where everything's evolving. Look at the world we live in. And how do we maintain that center, that groundedness, and be relevant for where we are in the world today? So that as we spoke of what this conference is, the theme of the conference, about community, and also about living it, breathing it, and teaching it. That's crucial. It really is crucial. It's like, how do we live it? How do people see us as living our ministry as part of UCM? How are we seen? How do we breathe it? Which is, how do we see ourselves and have our spirituality, our spiritual awakening, and our ministry infused through everything we do in our life, not just going to a service or going to a class, which is all important. But what about when we show up every day wherever we are? Who are we? And how do we teach it? Lots of the ways we teach it is how we live it and how we breathe it. Is how it's taught, that people ask us those questions. That was just really crucial. We realize we're in an important moment in the world, and people have said rebirth. People have used different terms for how we build on this incredible history and the founders and the teachings and of UCM, and how do we bring it to be relevant to these times for now. I'm out of order. That's okay. Why did this start? Okay, it started because we had a fast track program. And when we started looking at the fast track program, we said, well, wait a minute, that's good, that's important. We have people who want to come and be a part of it. But do we have some kind of process for fast track? And we couldn't really put our finger on what that was. And then we started looking at, well, the whole sponsorship program, because if we're going to fast track, what are we fast tracking? That's a sponsorship. That's kind of a sponsorship thing to fast track. But then, well, what are we fast tracking? And let's look at our sponsorship program and how we're going to sponsor students, kind of make it a little more formal, give more of a protocol, and also offer support to the sponsors. We want to offer support. We want to offer where we can send people to a curriculum, where we can send people to classes, and ongoingly support our sponsors. Maybe more people would choose to be sponsors if they felt maybe there was some more guidance and some more support. We also, actually Mary pointed out to us, Mary's not. Okay. That we do have to look at this right now also because of IRS, perhaps IRS, some more regulations or restrictions, or who are they going to be looking to? In different administrations in our government, we know where we are right now. What are the churches that might be looked at and scrutinized a little bit more? And it might be a church like ours, which is more a smaller liberal church. They might be kind of looking at that and saying, what is our protocol for teaching our students? So we want to make sure we have some guidelines that would fare quite well in scrutiny. Yes?
I don't know if you want to acknowledge that the Johnson Act has now been struck out. The Johnson Act is the religious fear of speaking up. Basically, we've been handed freedom of speech, which is such as why politics weren't allowed at the podium with UCM. That is gone now. You also have no fear of retribution of losing your tax-free status being a nonprofit status from the government now for dialogue and religious liberty. So in coming up in the policies of what you're saying, there's no fear of retribution. That was signed 2 days ago.
Well, there's still
There's still things, we still want to, take a look at what we've got and to make it be, set up the guidelines and to have more of a protocol for how we want to do sponsorship. Also because we're looking at the times that we're in. Sean is going to speak about this, others have spoken about it already. The way UCM has grown up to now has been, and perhaps, I think probably it's the way it is for everyone in this room, you know somebody who's a UCM minister, and you say, I'm interested in that, and then they're your sponsor, and they will nurture you along the way, and all of that, and that's worked really well. We are in a different time in the world now. We have a Zoomer. Okay, hi, hello Zoomer.
Zoomer.
Hi Zoomer. Okay, and we have an internet presence. We have a Facebook presence. We will reach people that go way beyond the way we've reached people in the past. I know that when I'm interested in something, it has to do with anything, spiritual awakening, or whatever it is I'm interested in, I don't just ask my neighbor, I Google it.
Yeah.
Right? So we want to be able to be Googled, right, in a way where we will reach people, that people will reach to us, will reach out to us and find us from who knows where. Not just locally, right? Yes. We're going to grow in the world. Yes. And we want to be able to be clear about who we are, about what our principles are, about what our ethical principles are, about how we live it, how we breathe it, and then how we teach it. So that people can see that and say, that's good. I think that I'm going to look into this a little bit more. We have to reach out to people differently than we did before. So who is it that we want to reach out to? And how do we want to present ourselves so that those who are drawn to us and for whom what we stand for resonates, it'll be clear. And therefore we need to think about our sponsorship. Who are we as sponsors? How do I as a sponsor live it and breathe it? How do we all recommit to our own self-awareness about how we do that? And have it not just be something that perhaps, or what about our code of ethics? What is our ethical behavior? That's one of the things that we thought about as well, because as Eileen so beautifully opened up this day with calling in people from different cultures, and we are inclusive of all different spiritual paths in this church. What is it that is our commonality in terms of our core principles of all the different faiths and all the different religions? We see in the world today that there are many different religions who are at war with each other. That's not who we are. What are the core principles and the ethical principles that join all of us? We want to be clear about that as we move forward. So whatever spiritual path someone is on, who may Google us and find us, what they're going to look at is what are our core principles. And whatever path they take, they also adhere to those core principles and that ethical behavior. And that's what joins us all. And then we get the richness of all the different traditions in that. So we want to be more clear, especially because we're reaching out to the world now. It's a big thing. And it's part of what's happening in this moment. We have such a rich foundation, and it's such an important time to be more clear and present ourselves to the world and have our own voice. I think that Sean's going to speak more to that in a minute. So that voice is clear, and it will resonate for those for whom it resonates. And there will be people who say, I don't think that's a fit for me. And that's fine, because they'll find what is the fit for them. Okay, I sort of did all the slides, but go to the next one, please. So we started thinking, how can we get to know people? Especially, here we can get to know. I have a neighbor, I have someone who wants to know more, and I know who they are, and I get to know them. But how do we get to know people who live far away? How do we get to know people who may want to sponsor somebody? We don't even know them. We need to bring them into the program. And these are just some of the things we want to know: how people live their lives, what their interpersonal skills are. How do they do with this? These are for sponsors, right? Their ability to listen. You spoke about that in your curriculum. We have to know how to listen. What are people's styles in managing conflict? How do we do with managing conflict? What about working in collaboration with groups? Some people work in a way that is more alone, more solitary, but we also want to be able to work together. We've thought about that in terms of sponsorship as well, that I, as a sponsor, may work in teamwork with other people who are sponsors. We may work together with people. I may have some skills, some ways of doing things, and someone else may have another way. And how do we work in collaboration and share with these things? So also our students have different people to go to. We want to mentor people, especially in their spiritual awakening, to just encourage people to be on that path. They're on their own path. People will find their own way. And we want to be on that path of awakening and self-awareness and mentor that along the way. How do people manage confidentiality? Very, very important. Very important. And we need to be clear about that. We need to make that very, very clear, that as sponsors and as ministers, we have to honor that confidentiality. Not everybody knows how to do that. Not everyone practices that all the time. And all of us need to sort of recommit to that. So this is a time of recommitting and of strengthening our skills in this and our commitment to it.
I have a question. So if this is a list of criteria for the sponsors to accomplish, you're going to be certifying the sponsors?
Well, we're going to enter into
requirements of UCM.
We're going to, this is a work in progress. These are the things that that we've been kind of brainstorming and that have been coming up. We haven't come down with anything in particular. We want to come up with a way that we can speak with people. It's not going to be like, well, you pass, you fail, or anything like that. But these things that we'll be in conversation with people so that people understand that these are the kind of things we're looking for.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. And I already spoke to this, but Sean came up with this and was inspired by whoever he was inspired by for these words to come up. And they've just held true in so many ways, It's like, how do we live it? And that's also when we want to talk to sponsors, people who want to be sponsors. And for ourselves, how do I live it? How do I breathe it? And then how do I teach that to others? By how I live, by how I breathe, and maybe by how I give a class or send somebody to Eileen or to someone else who will be teaching curriculum as well. We want to work all together. So again, this is a work in progress. We're throwing these things around. We're wanting to build on what we already have, and just to make it more clear as we move into a level of sponsorship which goes beyond what we have done up to now, because of our presence on the internet, because of Facebook. And the next one, Richard, please. Some of the things we want to do in the future is, what are those core principles that form that commonality with all different spiritual paths? It's what we stand for. And as people find us on the internet, they'll look at those core principles and say, yeah, that resonates for me. We are going to have a kind of assessment, but basically, again, it's how do we live it? How do we live it? How do we live our ministries in our life? We want to have guidelines. and all kinds of support material for sponsors so that they can call on the office, they can call on us, and they can get the materials or the guidance or classes or groups. Maybe we'll have students come together in a group and have a weekly or every 2 weeks or something, a group when everybody comes together. And it's not just necessarily one sponsor with one student. Sometimes yes, sometimes it can be groups. We want to find ways to enhance this and to offer support. We want to, in the not too distant future, invite people who are sponsors, who might be interested in being sponsors, to take a look at some of the stuff that we're doing, some of the materials, some of the ideas, and see, what do you think about it? We don't want to impose anything on anybody, but open up these ideas and also get these other sponsors or other ministers to give us some ideas about what you think. You don't think this would work, or why don't you try this, or this feels a little bit like this, but to invite others in so that we can refine the process. Again, it's a work in progress. It's just starting. We've got a lot more work to do, and we will be inviting people to share with us and to offer ideas. But the church has to evolve. We have to evolve. The times that we're in, it's very, very important on all levels for us to be relevant for these times. We have something very important to put out to the world, that the world needs right now. We want to be really, really clear about what that is. And draw to us new ministers for whom that is also important. That's it.
Excellent presentation, and now I'm going to back up a few slides so that our Reverend Sean Imler with an M can talk a little bit about social media.
Okay, so look, I really want everybody to give me the goofiest possible smile expression they can give me at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
That's the best you
I
can
know.
do? Go back there. You can do better. We got to rehearse. Come on. What are you asking them to do?
Give me the goofiest possible smile or expression you can possibly give me.
Goofy.
Now put your heart into it.
It's 1,
I don't even know how to be goofy.
3.
Hey!
Looks almost exactly the same.
I just hit my head.
This is for social media. No, it's not. This is for us. We're not being exposed for who you truly are.
They couldn't take the truth.
Thank you for indulging me. I just love microphones.
Sing it.
Now the end is near. Sorry, I'm out of control.
Been around Richard too long.
All right. So, I'm pulling up these slides on my phone so I can see what I'm going to be talking about. So, I updated the website and things are now easily accessible. Feeling more social lately. I am in existence. Am I done? I just didn't want to talk with my back to you. It's really what that was about.
That's very polite. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, so we've been working on
Blog?
on ethics, and so we're going to be adding etiquette to that too soon. So UCM etiquette. And, probably the top of that list will be don't turn your back to your audience. Dance moves. We will get our groove on. That'll be number 2. All right. Come on, you guys, get serious.
That was serious.
All right, the updated education menu for the series. Here's the thing. For those of you that are video conscious, you're putting stuff out there on YouTube, I have a few videos that I've been pulling in from YouTube onto the UCM website. It's the UCM classes section of the menu on the right-hand side under education. So it's right underneath the Tuesday evening lecture series. Corky, has a question?
I have about 200 videos in my Center for Creative Living channel.
Who are you? Center for Creative Living?
And so
Maybe we should publish those.
we could do that.
And if there's anybody else out there who is publishing videos, let's get them. You know, the thing about social media is it's really about cross-pollination. And so I want the UCM website to grow and start to cross-pollinate, because the more that you're accessible in different places on the internet, the more popular you become on the internet at large. So Google search engine optimization is about tracking all the different places that something can be found on the internet, and that's one of the main criteria they use to boost their rankings. So when you give us permission to publish stuff of yours on the UCM website, UCM benefits from it and you benefit from it as well. Not to mention the number of people that have access to your information, so that means it makes your stuff purposeful. So I want to reach out to people that are interested in doing this cross-pollination, giving permission to publish things on the UCM website. But it's not just your videos. I want personas, people that are out there and starting to get their classes out into the world. I want to create a page for each of those people that highlights the practitioners, the ministers, the reverends, the teachers on the UCM website. Give you a new forum for you to talk about whatever it is that you're talking about. I can even give you blog access so you can update that content on your own. And to me, this is one of the things that UCM should be providing, which is, especially for people that aren't really internet savvy, well, we can get you started. Okay, we have the platform, and if you know, there's always the outlet of Facebook, and we know how wonderful that is. And but how does that serve UCM and its growth? And so I want there to be a nice relationship between the two. And the Tuesday evening lecture series also is being published now with more metadata, so that you can see how many downloads people are either accessing, playing directly from the website, or downloading the content so they can look and review it on their own time. And the pages for the people that are holding those classes are there as well. So you have a picture, you have a bio, something that talks about you and what you're providing. So we have all this stuff, and I want to cultivate it more. So you might even tell your friends about this sort of thing. Hey, this is what UCM is evolving into. It's reaching out into the world at large through the millennial age, and people are very connected to their cell phones, they're very connected to media. And yeah, it's information, and yeah, there's a lot of information out in the world, but this speaks to something in particular, which is there's a need to cultivate the voice of UCM to bring it up into the current era. In 1950, people had to find the group that they felt comfortable in. So spiritualism was really important, because in a large population, you had to go out of your way to seek out your community. Now, with the age of information the way that it is, people are finding what they're interested in out on the internet. And the connection through community happens through online forums. And it doesn't happen in the same way that this happens, where you actually interact with people on a one-to-one level, where you're actually seeing their bodies in a room in physical reality. Everything's so virtual nowadays. So that's not either good or bad, it just is how things are. And so to distinguish ourselves from all of the other online communities, it's really important that UCM members start to speak out about their philosophical leanings, about their spiritual leanings, and communicate that on the website, because UCM needs to update what it stands for in this particular world, which is a little bit different than how it was in 1950. So coming up to 2017, moving into 2018, we need to identify what our voice is. What is the foundation by which UCM bases itself? And it bases itself on our philosophies, the things that we're bringing into the world. So we are essentially the voice of UCM, and we want those voices to be speaking out through the website so that people find us because they're looking for something in particular. In the age of communication, there are a bazillion websites that have communities, and we also need to be a community. But I tell you, being somebody that is on the internet a lot, I haven't really found anything that is like this. That's like what is in this room right now. That is what is connected to our website via people that, like Eve Wilson. I've never met her personally, but I've seen her over Skype. I haven't found that community on the internet. I don't know, I can't really qualify exactly what it is, but I know that it comes from an amazingly heart-centered approach, that it is, it believes undeniably in the spirit of humanity, and it is willing to talk about it, it's willing to express it, and it's willing to feel for it. Something about what we're doing and something about what we stand for is incredibly important to share with the world. And so I really want to encourage those people that want to at least give those videos and give those blog posts to our website, to give those to UCM, to give to the rest of the world so that people can find what we're about. Because it seems like it's missing in some regard. I can't tell you exactly how that is, but we also, in wanting to grow UCM, want to establish what our voice is, so that people that are looking for things in the way that I look for things will be able to find us quickly, easily, effortlessly. So I can't encourage you enough to stand up and want to write. Do something. I've heard from a few people in this room from the pre-conference last night up until today, people that have gotten the message to write. It's not singling out anyone. So yeah, the forum's there, okay? And if it's not serving your purposes, let me know and I can modify it. I can modify. I have the power. So, okay.
Sean?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you a question.
No question, sorry. Oh, okay, one question. And just holding. Took any ideas?
Okay, I would like you to make up a simple example of a millennial wanting to find whatever it is that they're looking for on the internet that they would do. You know, like they might say, well, I want to know what happens if my dog had 4 tails. I want to know what they would be asking, where we could see where our spiritual principles might attract them. Just give me a clue.
What's the marketing points
Okay,
for the
my kids are millennials right
Yeah.
now. Are millennials?
Millennials?
Yeah.
And they have no clue what they want.
How can they look for
Millennials have no clue.
Well, if you market it to them, they
Yeah.
might.
So you have to, in my opinion, I just have to say, you could do this. I'd like you to do this.
But that's where
But
you come in.
That's where you
Because
come
you
in.
have to be intuitive enough to know beyond the vocal words what's going on inside and what they're really asking you, and that's the person you answer. Be alert.
They really don't know. Most of them are PhDs and moving back home and taking jobs in Tim Hortons.
Well,
They're really
drugs or jobs?
drugs or jobs, right? Yeah. They have no idea.
It's not like that.
Mine.
Personal experience.
Here's an idea for you.
They want everything given.
Yes, they spoiled them.
There,
Not all. No.
on the homepage of yahoo.com, in the upper right corner, there is a list of keywords. It's called Trending Now. And they're the 10 top search words or phrases that are being searched for right now. Okay? Now, if you want to get an idea of what is attracting people, look at the content associated with those keywords. And it may just be things that are coming up in the media. It may be, there's some funny things that happen. You start to see these, any astrologer knows that there are patterns. And those patterns are inexplicable until you look for a system that starts to describe, like astrology. So you start to see, okay, well, the reason why those particular keywords might be searched for is because, there's a square between Venus and Saturn. And so that's one thing. The other thing is, you can do a search online for the top searched for keywords on the internet right now. And there's a number of different sites that will come up to tell you what is trending from Google's search criteria. There's also tools out there on the internet that will help you compare search keywords to see if one is searched for more than another. Now, the reason why this is important is because it gives you a pulse on what is going on in the world. When people need answers, what they're searching for. So if you want to develop content that is popular, you could figure out how to integrate those keywords into something informative that has spiritual content in it.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Really sharp.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Are you looking for things to share from the website to get a broader base coming back to you? Or are you just looking for your own original content to broadcast?
That's both. So the question was, are you looking for things to share from the website, or are you looking to bring things into the website? And it's both. Right now, the blog posts that are there, and there aren't many, they do have sharing links associated with them: Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Twitter, email, maybe Pinterest. So there are ways to link out from UCM with the blog posts that are there right now.
I think you misunderstood my question. When I'm online and I see things like I might look at something on Hay House, or I might look at something from Matt Kahn, or I just learned about a new guy named Peter Rohr, I think is his name. And those lectures and things that I read follow the basic tenets of what you're doing. So wouldn't you want to share what they're doing to your community?
So to that note, so Facebook has the platform for sharing social media content. Our website does not necessarily have that sort of structure put into it. However, I can pull in content from our Facebook feed, which I haven't done. We've talked about me doing that. So that would be wiring up our Facebook content feed to bring the content from our Facebook feed into UCM. So if somebody wants to have access to post to our Facebook page, which I think that any member should, However, you do need to be added explicitly. So if you would like to be able to post to the UCM Facebook page, you could take that content from out there on the internet and bring it into the Facebook page, and then it could come back to the UCM website. But right now, the UCM website is not sophisticated enough to have web content brought in from outside sources and then placed on the UCM website. Now, that is something we could talk about doing, but that's not in our trajectory at the moment.
Did I heard wrong, I'm hoping. The Facebook page is private? Anybody can post on the Facebook page, right? You don't have to be liked, you don't have to be allowed to post on the Facebook page?
I'm assuming right now that the admin has the access to post to the Facebook page.
And nobody can
But
post.
nobody from the public can come and post to the Facebook page.
So can they can only comment?
They can only comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Julie?
So I have a question about the blog. So is that you want ministers to share their blogs with UCM, or is there a blog page? Because I don't see a blog page on the UCM site.
So Julie's asking if I'm asking for ministers to share their blog posts on the UCM website, or if there is the opportunity for ministers to write blogs on the UCM website. And there is a blog, and it's called Articles. It's not called blog. And so that might be the confusion.
Confused by that. How silly of me.
But you do want ministers to share their blogs with UCM.
And yes, we do want the ministers to share their blogs with UCM. So if you, and yes.
And how do they do that?
You want it to go through the administrator?
Yes.
Because it needs to be screened.
Correct.
Yes.
And it's going to be like the Google 4,000 people they're hiring to screen videos, so it doesn't have.
Yes, we're going to hire 4,000 people to screen. No.
Google's adding another 4,000 people to screen content before they let it on.
Yeah, but
Well, we're a little behind
we have members, and so if you have become a member of UCM and you're a good writer, we want your content. So just contact me, and if you need some place to contact me, you could write to EarthCub. That's EARTHCUB at pacbell.net, PACBELL.net.
Are they still alive?
No, Pacbell has been dead for a very long time, and they've kept only my email address.
You and Clyde, yeah.
So, Dottie, you have a question?
Yeah. So why is it that it has to go through you? That seems kind of like censorship.
Yes, because I am the traffic cop. I decide whether your blog is any good. No, because it needs to be wired up. Somebody technical needs to be able to do this, because you can't do it yourself.
So it's not just like Facebook. But
As a matter of fact, if you wanted to post on Facebook, you also would need to go through an administrator so that they can add you as an administrator to post on Facebook. Not commenting, I'm talking about actually posting and sharing articles.
so can we do that on the website?
We could do that on the website, but it still needs to go through somebody. Posting comments is a different thing. Right now, there is not a field for posting comments on blog articles on our website, because there isn't really that much blog content. When I start to get a lot of blog content, then I can open up some place to post comments by people who are members and have accounts on the website. Easy to hook up. Carol?
So this piece about, we've been talking about sponsorship and the guidelines, and we've been talking about ministerial training and guidelines. So, we can have a minister who has a blog or an article that it may be that there are parts of it that are not in alignment with some of the values. I'd like to, at some point, discuss that, because just because a minister writes something doesn't mean it's appropriate for the website.
Correct.
Right?
That's what my point is.
And so there is a particular account that is the last part in the chain of publishing. So if you're a writer for the UCM website and you have written a blog post, you don't have full control to administer the entire website. It gets submitted, then somebody reviews it to make sure it's all good, and then it gets published by that person, okay?
Okay, also know that the UCM is liable for
Yes.
anything published on the website. So you might want to call it censorship, but it's not. You might want to call it cover your ass. Okay?
Yes.
It's really is compliance. We need to make, it has to be by.
What's on the website that represents you.
So that's just straight up across the board. You know, please don't look at it in any other way except for legality issues. We must keep it that way, or we will be banned from carrying any website on any server. Okay? We signed off on that when we set up, and if you, okay, Carol, you got something? No? Okay.
So Corey was saying, just for those that may not have heard that on the recording, or if people are zoomed in, there is a chain that things go through a vetting process. You know, Eileen loves that word. There is an assessment process, an evaluation process by which articles and content that gets submitted will be reviewed so that it reflects the voice of UCM. We're trying to find our voice. It does come from you. And we are interested in refining that, making it sophisticated, and making it attractive to the world. Jim?
Plus, there's the fact that anything we put on the internet is there forever. So if it's not vetted before we put it on there, it'll come back and bite us for 100 years.
Right.
So my favorite recipe might make somebody else unhappy.
So it should follow the handbook.
Well, this depends on what you're cooking.
The handbook of UCM doesn't
Come
cover.
back here.
Could you please repeat your contact?
No, I meant his values.
So I'm repeating my contact info. It's Earth Cub. That's EARTHCUB at Pacbell, PACBELL.net. Well, I just don't check it. I use it really. Let's talk about this offline, Corey, right? Just giving me grief. Mike?
We do have people that do put out the weekly blog. I know one in Michigan, Dean Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've actually put it out to Eve before, and I'll have to do it again to get her to give us some content.
Yeah. I get it every week from
Mm-hmm.
So we could make that available if she would like to.
You just tell her that if she doesn't give her content to us, that you're going to unsubscribe from her blog post. That'll teach her.
She's a great writer. And she does.
I know she is. I've read her stuff. Okay, any more questions? Lynn?
I think I've done a class some time back and on it for Casey. I'm a low-tech person, but a friend's husband helped me kind of spiff it up, and I think I sent it. I don't know where it is, and I don't have the technical skill. I mean, I'd like to communicate with your site. But it might be, there are some of us who might need a little technical help to try to retrieve our material. Is that, I believe I'll send it to you.
Between Sean and I, we can help.
Yeah.
Just, and for me in particular, if I don't respond right away, remind me. Because I get a lot on the go, I don't always remember everything. That's why if Deirdre in my other capacity for light news and whatnot, people send things to Deirdre, and then that way it's sure to remind me. So it's not that I don't want to, it's just sometimes I get a lot on my plate.
I have material and I would like to find it and send it to you. And just not quite sure how to do it.
That's Richard, we're gonna use your phone number to get him.
So, a thought that's going through, Carol's looking at her watch and she's going like, hey, get the hook for that guy. So hang on. If you have any more questions, I'll be around. You can come in and do a healing session with me and we'll work it out.
What's your thought? What was your thought?
Oh, the thought was maybe creating a submissions email address, like submissions@u-c-m.org.
Done? Great. You want it? You got it?
Okay, so did you guys get that? Submissions@u-c-m.org. I'll monitor that with Richard, and we'll take care of your ideas and content that you'd like to post, and that will be the official email address. So let's do that. I think that makes the most sense. So thank you, Lean, for encouraging that. I've posted all the weekly notes that Richard has been sending out via email on the website. They're now available there if you want to go back, and there's some great ones, and if you've missed them, you should go back and read some of them.
You've got your leg wrapped around it.
Did I miss anything? And I would like to say, if you have any ideas for spreading the social aspect of UCM out into the world or receiving content, also send those ideas, the submissions, and because I would like to hear about them. I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Is there anything not up here that you guys want to know about?
Oh, those and.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Gosh, this is like the most important thing.
Sound of option?
C.J. White, who is a CCL member, is also a social media maven, really, really good at this craft. He won't be our social media person, but he will train that person for free.
I want to do it.
You want to do it?
I do want to do it.
Okay, so here's the deal, okay? And it doesn't need to be just one person. It could be more than one. What we need is somebody that is really engaged with Facebook, that likes to craft pictures with messages and post them so that our UCM Facebook page is alive with content. And this person does not necessarily need to know the ropes right now, because there are some things to know. It can be an easy job once you know the procedure. So all you need to have is the desire to learn, the desire to express yourself, a good command of the English language, and the feeling like this is a calling for you.
That's me!
And it very well may be quirky, actually, because Lord knows she has so much time on her hands. I know she's just sitting around doing nothing all the time. CJ will train you. Okay, so if you have an interest in being this person, or if you know of somebody who might fill
There's
these
so
shoes,
much I need to know about Facebook.
you could literally make a business out of this thing. Yeah, we just need somebody dedicated. So you could learn these ropes, you could start doing it for other people, but we need somebody to do it for UCM, somebody that really loves to do Facebook stuff, okay? And so if you are that person or know who that person might be, send it to submissions@u-c-m.org, and we will take the next steps with you. What was the other thing?
Your YouTube fan wants to bring.
Didn't I already talk about YouTube? Did I do something else?
Specifically fan page, subscribe and.
Just sharing. Okay. If you haven't already subscribed to the UCM YouTube fan page, you can find it just by, you actually have to search for Universal Church of the Master, because UCM itself, like on Google search engine, will bring up a lot of different results that aren't Universal Church of the Master. So just go to YouTube, search for Universal Church of the Master, find a video, subscribe to our feed, and more content. We need more content. So if you're doing anything, I mean, it could be, they don't necessarily need to be classes. classes would be fantastic, but if you're going out into the world and doing something that's meaningful, that is part of your ministry, that's part of your healing, videotape it. Let's post those things to UCM so that people know what is going on with UCM, what these people who are ministers and Licentiate ministers and healers are doing. So we want to open up the forum for you to put your stuff out there, to share.
And that will also be reviewed?
Yes, so all submissions will be reviewed. So when you have something, just send it to submissions@u-c-m.org.
But it won't be hooked up today.
It won't be hooked up today.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Yeah. Okay, so just hold off until tomorrow night.
So I was wondering if, since I have like almost 200 videos in my channel, would you like to have permission to just go in and choose it, or do you want me to submit it? Because then, I mean, either you could just go ahead and look at it and take what you want, or I could do it and then you would have to, you know.
Offline.
Yeah, offline.
There's some technical complications around sharing one YouTube page to another YouTube page. So let me work out some of the details around that. At a minimum, though, we can link to your page on the UCM.org website.
Okay, well, sidebar, but I just want to put that out there so that, because I'll forget.
Do you want to announce? Thank you.
Thank you. Yay! Woo!
Hey, Mary,
Okay, that was phenomenal, as usual. Sean has such a command, broadband command of social media. Thank you. You can see the direction all this is going, the depth by which the ministers carry their acumen. So we're going to do a 30-minute break over at 3:30 to allow you to make a final review and bidding on items for the silent auction. The bidding
Sitting down, right?
will close.